build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
I'm Colin.
How's it going, Colin?
Aye, all right. It's not bad. It's about as good as it gets.
Aye, I think I've calmed down yet. I've had like a decent day, so met Josh early. Decided to get the train through to the game this morning. Have a pint. So we went to the Harp before the game, had a quick pint in there, and then we went into Robbie's after the game, and then up to the Pear Tree, which is where Josh works up there. So we were up there for a couple before I came and got the train back up the road, and I thought that would probably mellow me out a wee bit because
usually helps, eh?
Aye, after the game I was fucking. I try not to let football get to you. It's stupid, eh? Like when you think about it, it is like a stupid thing to let annoy you.
It's a kid's game, eh?
But I was really pissed off with him today. And we'll cover it. So I think we'll just jump right into the talking points because we've got extra time today, and I've not had my dinner again. I've got chippy tea because being in the pub, I've got a bit of chippy tea. Yeah, that's the rules. So I'm going to order that in between finishing this one and starting extra time. And then what should happen is when we finish extra time, it should only be maybe 20 minutes to wait for it.
Yeah. Is it normally an hour? You're wait.
It's a busy one. Busy chippy up at us. Mini doner calzone supper, if anybody's interested, is what I'll be having. Aye. Lovely. Right. Before we go to talking points, initial thoughts in the game. You just want to give us a wee summary, Colin, of what you thought.
I was a bit disappointed, but I was probably. I don't think when I look back, I didn't really fancy it this morning, although I never said it out loud. But I was disappointed at how it turned out because we actually started all right.
Yeah.
I thought we looked like we might get a couple of chances and score. Second half, though, just didn't turn up in the second half. So it was really disappointing. I think you tweeted or maybe in the group chat, I can't remember. It was like we've accepted defeat.
Aye.
That's what it was like. I thought that was spot on when I seen that. I thought that was a good way to sum it up.
That's what it felt like. And I think obviously there was big issues getting into the East as well, and I don't think that helped. Josh made that point, and I thought actually, unusually, it was a really good point from.
Well done, Josh.
Well done, Josh. Because when the players came out, it was like half empty. Whatever way you want to look at it. So you miss all that build-up. Like stupid kick-off time anyway, like 12 o'clock on a Sunday is shit kick-off time.
Aye, but it is, and I hate that, and I've said it before, Sundays are shite in general. 12 o'clock has just got to kill all the atmosphere. But I only killed it in our stands.
Aye. But you had that, and I think if you hadn't had the issues getting into the East and we'd had all the bodies in for the players coming out, because in the end it was quite full. Do you know, by the time we were about 20 minutes into the game, it looked busy. If the players had come out to that, and there's a bit of noise, I think the whole thing feels different. It just felt dead flat all day.
It did, but even that, I mean, I was there. I got quite sharp. I drove in. Normally part of the Middlebank side, but I didn't because of the barriers and it was them. Normally, even with Hearts and Celtic, I would probably still part there and think, well, fuck it, sorry, what they got to do to me. But with them, I can't. Nah. Just with the hatred they've got for everything, I think.
Catholics.
And I'm no one, but
I know. But they didn't can, eh?
Nah. And so I parked the other side, but I knew like all the roads were shut and all that, so I parked away. I thought, fuck it, we'll just walk in. So I parked away up towards Craigentinney, and it was dead, absolutely dead. And I could have parked way down near the stadium. Like there was loads of spaces, and I thought, fuck me, genuinely to the point where Carol went, "You sure it's a 12 o'clock kickoff?" That was what she said to me. And this was about 11:05 when we were walking down because it was dead. There was no cars, there was no people, and you're like, I don't know what's fucking going on.
Aye, we said the same when we were going to the Harps. The Harp opened at 11, and we got there just as it was opening. But there was a handful of folk outside, and I was like, I thought it was going to be fucking rammed.
Yeah.
And then the walk up outside all the pubs was quiet, and normally you'd expect it to be a lot busier. So I thought that didn't help. The other thing I noticed is the two guys that had the cinch sort of door frame thing that they pull out, they went to the wrong side of the pitch. Did you notice that? No. Normally they bring it out just in front of the tunnel, when the players come out and line up in front of it.
In the middle of it or something.
It's like somebody said to him, if you have it for about 15 yards from the touchline, about halfway, they've gone great, and they've taken it to the east.
I never noticed that.
It was like mildly amusing. It was like, I said to Josh, there's like, they've come early bit to take that.
Aye. No, I didn't see that. It was trying to get a steak pie because I hadn't had nothing to eat yet, so I got a steak pie.
How was it?
It was all right. It was within the pie mayorship here.
No, we'll leave that. Leave that to the ramble.
It was warm. It was decent temperature. It wasn't burning me, but it half stuck in the bottom of the case, which fucking rips my tits. Like I hate that. But
aye.
A good story though. Keep it for short bangers. The boy delivered it. The boy ordering it because I'll just tell you. He didn't care what an Oasis was, and then I ordered 3 steak pies and a mince pie for 4 people. By the way, it's not for me. We've not got any mince pies. We've only got Scotch pies or macaroni pies. I went, I'll give one of the Scotch ones in, mate. That's like, for fuck's sake.
So, do you think there's a difference between the two, a mince pie and a Scotch pie?
No.
Well, there is. Because I had this chat with Aldo from Alan's Bakers, who put me right. Because I always just assumed the same, but it's to do with the amount of mince that's in it. So I think under a certain amount, it's a Scotch pie. Over a certain amount, it's a mince pie. However, I would put money on them, no kenning the difference. Like I think there's somebody going, I did not know that. The two. But there is fact fans, eh?
I was in Aldo's yesterday.
Hi Lampard.
No.
Yep. Right. I thought the game was all right. But we done all right first half. Marshall fucked it with the goal. I didn't think it was a free kick in the first place. Again, like you thought it was a foul.
I thought it could be. Like, I mean, I thought it was on the soft side, but I actually thought he had his hands up, and that's what me and Charlie, my brother-in-law that sat beside, thought, because he's got his hands up, so he's kind of looked like he's pushed them. Soft like, but because of that, because then it happened about 5-10 minutes later, and it was Jago this time, and they just clattered into each other like head on, and there was no free kick, and that was more severe than the Egan Riley one, but he didn't have his hands up, and I think that's the difference for the referee.
You think that's what it was? Because
I've not seen it back on the telly though, so folk that have seen it on the telly makes you're talking shite, but that was for me sitting at the away end, effectively the west stand.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. It was like hands into his chest to protect his cell in a way, but it looks like you're pushing him away.
Aye, I just thought it was one of these ones that you see it in the forward. Was it Cantwell? Was that the boy's name?
I think so. Johnson seemed to be talking about him. He's a good player. Like I do think he looks decent.
Was decent. He'd taken the touch and then run into Egan Riley as they both sort of turned for the ball. I was like, it's fucking soft again. But irrespective of that, when the boys lined up to take it, you've got to Kent where it's going. I said to Josh, there's a goal near post. And I cannot believe that Marshall didn't expect that to happen. And I cannot believe how bad his attempt to keep it out was.
Do you know, and I'm sure there's talking points on it, because I've seen some of the tweets coming in earlier, or they were just tweets, I don't know if they were in response to the talking points, but I'm sure it'll come up. But Johnson said in his after-match interview, I think he took a step. He was obviously trying to protect him in some way. I've seen it back. I think he does. No. I just think he's really slow in getting across.
Aye. But I still know what he was expecting. I mean, Tavernier, I can't say his name. Like I change it every time I go to.
I think you got it
right. He's right-footed. He's got a cracking right foot on him. Mm-hmm. For that angle, he's always going to do. He's done it to us before. Yeah. Where he scored for that position. Aye. I just couldn't get my head around Marshall not being ready for it. And then the attempt that he's made to try and save it, it's just punched.
It's actually behind the line when he's trying to save it, by the way. Like when you see it back, he's behind the line. So if he's trying to put it around the post, he's pushing that into the side net.
Aye.
Because he's that far behind it. It's like his footwork's over the shop. But aye, it's did we have him as a hit or a miss last week? Probably a hit, because he's played every week, yeah.
Aye, I think we did, but it was
based on the criteria we were talking at the time, because I think we were all overexcited about him coming in. I was when we get to the one where we say about our predictions for the year, I'm sure I had him doing as my prediction for Player of the Year, which might still come fucking true based on the fact he won the Supporters Club one.
We had him as a hit and a maybe.
That go for maybe. I probably went maybe.
You did.
Oh, that's all right then. Good, well done me.
Well done you. He'd downgrade him because I don't think he covered himself in glory with the other goals either.
He'd already scooped a ball up in the fucking sky as well, so his distribution was like fucking off.
I think
that was the thing, and that's the thing he's been getting all the credit for.
Aye, I think I put on I can't remember if I posted it on our group chat, just like Marshall's been on the beers, and that was before the goal went in. Aye, just I think Campbell misses the chance as well. Great play for Nisbet, lovely ball across. I think Campbell's on the stretch, just doesn't quite reach it, and knocks it past the post. Like if we'd gone in 1-1, we probably would have deserved to go in level.
I
wouldn't have complained about that. I think Rangers would have complained, but the second half, especially after the second goal, that just killed us, and the Hibs went and
just give up.
Aye, probably the only bright spot.
No, either.
No, but it's like we were going through the motions. Do you know, like it's hard to explain it. It's like it's like trying almost. Do you know, like this, like a training game. Like you would see them in the warm up when they make the square and they'll try to kind of keep the ball in. It was like that sort of intensity. It was just going, fucking come on, boys. I was saying to Josh coming out the stadium, I was like, I reckon how it's got to the point, and I know that the game has changed in that, right? There wasn't like a bad tackle made. Like, how are we making it, or why are we making it so easy for Rangers to do that to us? We did the same with Celtic. And Josh says, Rangers are a good team. And I was like, aye, but Gascoigne wouldn't have got away with that. Gascoigne, Laudrup would like Davy Cooper, players like that would walk into that Rangers team.
Aye. No, that's the thing. And you're totally right, because Spoken with me was shouting break his legs and all that stuff to Cantwell, and you're thinking, just somebody leave one on him, see if he fancies it. Aye. And you didn't need to be better than them or anything to do that. Like, they can't even see it in youth football. If you're a wee bit faster than them, they just catch you late, and they didn't mean it. Yeah. It's just that you were faster than them. So, like, a professional football player can definitely make it look like they just arrived late and catched and just fucking kicked somebody.
Aye. We
just didn't. And they fight the ref for it, and you probably get sent off against Rangers, of course, and especially the VAR. You go and swing somebody, you've got to get the red. The ref's got to be.
Aye, but I think, and it's one of the things, and our Porteous did get red cards for it, but it's the sort of thing Porteous was decent at. But like he would go and have a hard tackle.
David Gray before him, David Gray, yeah. So, because it just felt like that. I mean, it sound like we're saying fucking kicked them off the park, but you've got to match them. If you've not got the technical, I think that's what the word of the day for Lee Johnson was, ability. You need to match them in fight then, or better them in fight to make up for that deficit in technicality.
Aye, you need them worrying about receiving the ball. Because they won the ball.
They want to get rid of it quick. You're going to have to be very fucking technical, Mr. Rangers player, because I'm going to be snapping at your fucking heels and kicking them if you're not moving.
Aye, that's it. If you're not quick, you're going up in the air.
And we said this before against Celtic and that as well.
Aye.
It's like, why? Like, just nobody gets booked. Why are we not getting booked? Why are we letting them be fucking good at football?
Aye, far too much respect for them. And no, that and you're right. It's not that we were saying that's how we should play football, but I think you definitely need to. You need to compete. This is like a home game for us. You can't have teams just coming and fucking strolling it and just going home with the points, like a 3-1 win. Away with the points. They've not had to break sweat. We've gifted them goals and not to make them work for it. Right, well, let's get some talking points in. Right, Steve Brown, first one, says a new keeper is a must, but it's not just this game that shows we need work done in the summer. We've simply not been good enough this season. This will give me pelters, but I still think McCurdy could be a decent player for us. I realise I have nothing to back this up. How do you think McCurdy did when he came on?
No, he tried. Like, he was on the boot. He done all right.
He had a decent shot.
Aye.
I thought McCurdy looked all right. But it being like sort of training game level, I thought he did well. He impacted the game. I feel for him, like I maybe like the underdog or whatever. With McCurdy, I don't like seeing players getting a hard time, and so maybe I'm over generous with the praise, but I thought he looked all right when he came on and was kind of looking to see us give him the ball more because he was getting at them.
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't getting that.
New keeper. Then think is it a must?
I think we're going to need one. I think so. I mean, I think he's maybe just season too far, maybe.
Aye, I think so.
I mean, saying that, like, we were all really pleased with him the first half of the year, like, especially the distribution stuff. I think that masked a lot because he has made some saves, but I reckon he's probably cost us more goals than saved us. But I don't know. Not done the numbers. Well, and you do remember the worst stuff better than you do the good stuff. So.
You can even go back to the start of the season when we took the tanking at Parkhead. But he chucked probably more than one that he chucked in there, but it was just one that kind of went right through his hands.
We've got a queue in anyway, so it was kind of masked for that. I don't know. He's made some saves. He's made some noise. Had some good distribution, some shite distribution. So he's just an all right goalie. I don't think actually, and it's as controversial as it is because everybody backed in. I don't think he's any better than Matt Macy last season.
No,
and I wasn't. And I defended Matt Macy, but not because I thought he was a fucking really good goalie. I just thought he was all right, and we were really critical of him, like what you're saying about McCurdy. Whereas here, this year round, we've got a goalie that's a bit on a par with what Macy done for us, or worse, possibly based on the stats that you used. And we give him Player of the Year. Like the Supporters Club give him Player of the Year. It's fucking mental.
It's like you said, the pass isn't like a pass because of I don't know because of the standard that he's been at before. I think for me, goalkeeper is a priority position in the summer, and if we don't address it, then we're not going to have a good season next year. It's such an important position.
See, there's so many priority positions.
But you can, I think you can't get away with that. Like that's. It's the number of games where, like even like St Johnstone away recently, where like we needed to win that game to guarantee ourselves top 6 for it to be in our hands, and he chucked one in. Right, the day was we needed a result today to get like any lingering hopes we had a third, but even like 4th is still a stretch. But to be in the mix for it, we really needed to take something, and he's chucked at least one in, maybe 2.
I've not seen that one back yet, the third goal. I've not seen it back because I was on the ejector seat as the boy was tapping it in. But it did appear that he was scrambling a bit a wee bit after.
I need to see it back. But I think like a goalkeeper is a priority position anyway. Like if you've got a good goalkeeper, you give yourself the platform to kick on for the season.
So many of them. We've got a striker. We need a goal scoring midfielder. We need a centre half because Fish isn't here. He's not ours. And Hanlon's like getting on. So like it's a whole spine as a priority, and it's almost like that. See if somebody was at your work saying, "There's 5 projects you need to deliver." You're going, "What was the most important?" Oh yeah, tell us what was the most important.
Aye.
Is it goalie? Is it really goalie? I'm sure.
It is really goalie.
More than a striker. And we've not got one. Nice. We'll just go with McCurdy up front next year.
Melkerson and Doiger back next season as well.
Oh, aye. So we'll back up there, bolster the bench.
Rub our hands together like that. I was only joking, just in case for the avoidance of doubt. Craig Montgomery said small positives from today were Miller and McCurdy. Midfield needs massive improvement as it has done for 4 years. Need a goalie. Marshall has been a huge letdown. How do you think the midfield did today, Colin?
It's funny because I thought Neil was all right. Like in terms of, he was one that I would have gave a pass mark to. When I say pass mark, talking like 7.5 out of 15.
Out of 15.
So you're because he was running about, and I've seen him organise it. I've seen him like telling folk, kind of like doing the captaincy bit without bawling and shouting, like getting them together after a goal and that kind of stuff. And I thought he was all right. I actually thought Jago was all right as well early in the game in the first half. Probably he got subbed anyway, didn't he? But in the first half, I thought he was all right. And I'm saying that like I'm surprised. I'm not. I'm just based on what I read and hear, about him, how shite he is. And I thought he was actually all right, and I thought Neil was all right. But in the main, like we got ran round there, like. So in another way, none of them put a heavy tackle in. So to balance that, they probably just done all right, but they just got outplayed, didn't they?
I thought Campbell and Cadden struggled together. They seem to kind of get their wires crossed loads of times, getting each other's way, and neither of them I thought particularly a good game.
Cadden though, because like. Are we playing him out of position now? Because he's always been a right back, and we've kind of demanded that he's not a right back. He's playing in right midfield, even though he's always had his career's a right. He's a career right back.
I think at Motherwell played further forward.
So, but that comes down to the lack of understanding, I think, because how often have they actually played there together? Because Campbell's not been in the team when we've shifted Cadden forward. So then, it's that connection that you build, I suppose, with minutes. But aye, I think the midfield were brilliant, but I think they were shite, but they were probably half marks or just under.
Aye. Mark McKenzie said, rubbish, keeper's done, needs replaced. Bestie to Beastie to Belgium said the work was needed anyway, and that just underlined it. A few of the team can't step up to the next level, and it really shows out of possession, chasing shadows and second best. Very few positives, to be honest. Absolutely sick of losing to them and listening to their shameful songbook.
Yeah, good point. I think I disagree with Colin when he messages in. It's almost like I would say it myself, because I was thinking about the songbook. I thought, because they totally outsang our end.
Oh, aye.
But then from where I sit, you're going to hear it better. My daughter was over in the East and she says that she could hear our boys try to give it back. But none of their songs support Rangers. It's all about how much they hate something or somebody. Mental. Or it's just mad. But aye. So I couldn't agree more with you. Bestie to build, whatever the fuck it is.
Bestie to Beastie to Belgium. The point about out of possession and chasing shadows, that kind of goes back to what we're saying there about kind of get close to them and making life difficult. But Lee Johnson, in his interview, had sort of alluded to, I think, not being happy with the work rate, almost the work rate, but folk no appreciating that you're meant to compete in these games when you're at Hibs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, but he's like, they need to understand how good a club this is, and it's not enough just to come in and train and turn up on a game and then
did he say? Oh, I never heard that. See, I heard BBC Radio, so I didn't hear him saying that on the must have been the TV or something.
It's on the Evening News site, so I just read it just before we came on.
Aye, so I hadn't heard that, but because he did mention on the radio 1 point out of 7 games or something.
Aye,
against them. No. But then we've done fucking whole episodes on how the gap's insurmountable.
Correct. We have. So am I contradicting myself now?
I think we probably maybe expect a draw here and there. 1 in 7's obviously not enough for us though.
Aye.
Because we expect more than that. Especially when actually we were the team that had something to play for the day.
Mm-hmm.
They've not. They can't finish any higher or any lower in the league. They've got no cups to play for. They've won fuck all again. And we're actually playing for a proper European place rather than what I term the Cunts Cup place. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like when you get knocked to a tournament and a Bairns tournament and you go into the consolation rounds, the consolation cup, Cunts Cup. That's what it is. And because even finishing 5th, they might not even get in it because Inverness, they will be spotting Inverness on the day to win the cup. And that would mean we did it if we finish 5th, if we'd managed to fucking stay up, because there's no guarantee on that either, based on St Mirren only need a point and they're fucking above us. Is that right? Or is it 2?
They're 2 behind us now.
2 behind us.
Aye.
But they've got Aberdeen left. And we've got fucking Celtic and Hearts. Like, I can't see us getting many points.
No, no fifth like that either.
So they've got it right in their hands, really. I can't mean it's in their hands, officially in our hands, but aye.
Right, Jeff Ashton said Marshall needs to be a backup keeper next season. Quite a bit of work or a fuckload of work if we can't keep Fish and CJ for another season. A creative midfielder, another centre forward, a goalie, left back, a fit Boyle and McGuinness if it exists, helps the quality. Positives? Nah. Do you think we'll see McGuinness again in a Hibs shirt?
I would expect so. How long's he got? He's still got a year or 2 left, eh?
I think it's another year or 2 years. I think we'll try and move him on in the summer.
We might try, but will somebody take him without him playing a few games? So I think we'll see him in the shirt pre-season up to the end of August till we can go. He's fit again.
You think?
Aye.
Maybe. Boyle makes a difference to his team, even for like attacking options. Aye, I'll try not to get carried away. If you'd asked us last week after the Aberdeen game, we outplayed them and they're 3rd best team in the country, right, based on the table, and we went, we dominated them. We beat them 6-0 already this season. You're probably looking at it thinking, we're almost there. But then you have a game like today where you think, fucking, we're miles off it again.
Yeah. But that's where it comes back to the inconsistent stuff that's been getting thrown at us. And we've kind of went, well, everything's inconsistent, but ours are quite extreme inconsistencies.
Aye. We're very rarely just all right, eh? It's like,
pretty good, and that goes shite. And if you look at the league table, we've hardly drawn any games, which suggests that we're either really good and win or we're really shite and get beat.
Yeah. I think probably the table is where we should be, I think. Like, I don't think we're in a false position. Sometimes you can feel like that in a season. But this season, I think we probably are about right.
I think so. And I think, I don't like, and I suppose we'll get on, there'll be stuff about Johnson and that, and there might even be stuff on Europe, so I don't want to preempt too much, but I think we're clinging on to this European spot, like as if it's okay. When my belief, and I might be wrong here, right, but see when Hibs spoke about finishing in European places, I didn't think they were counting fifth. And I know it technically gets a European place. I think they mean third and fourth.
Aye, well, they were
and I think we're clinging on to it. It's like clutching at straws, man. It really is.
They were talking about impact in the group stages of Europe, not just being like fucking the 10th qualifier and getting papped out then. So, and I don't think unless there's a lot of work done to the team, that team is good enough to go and progress through 3 or 4 qualifying rounds to get into a group
Johnson,
stage.
I think he mentioned it in his interview earlier, or Brian McLaughlin did. He says you spoke about needing 4 or 5 windows. And he was like, aye, because I was telling the truth. Right, that's fine. He's had 2. So are we halfway to where we want to be? Really? Feels like fucking further away than that.
It does feel like further away than that. Manny Curfey said Lee Johnson can self-congratulate himself all he wants on his first year report card. By the way, that's what we're going to talk about on extra time when we record it. But the empty seats in the stands tells the story. Up against a team with nothing to play for, we were yet again weak and unconvincing. We've beat far better Rangers teams than that.
You don't disagree?
Yeah.
I don't disagree, yeah. But it's kind of summing up some of the stuff we've said in the last 15 minutes,
Lex Loafer said, absolutely sick of Nisbet. Totally uninterested and so easily pushed off the ball. Guys like McCurdy, Henderson, Doyle Hayes are all brutal. Huge clear out needed and some quality much needed in the middle of the pitch. Also, if they all had the work rate of Lewis and Newell, then we might get somewhere.
Aye, and maybe a wee bit harsh on Doyle Hayes, but the others, I agree with the rest of it. I agree with it. And then even Doyle Hayes, I'm not sold on him either, but I don't know if I'd put him in the same bucket as Henderson and the other ones I mentioned there. So I kind of agree with that.
I think Doyle Hayes is a funny one, eh? Like I probably same as you, but not sold on him is pretty a good way to put it. I totally acknowledge he's had some good games, but there are other games where he's been like a sort of John Rankin level player.
And Newell seems to get a harder time for some reason than Doyle Hayes. I think Newell is a better player, but I'm not saying Doyle Hayes isn't a good player either, though. And, but I just think if it's one or the other, I'm picking Newell like 10 times out of 10.
Same here. John R said, we don't have to play them again this season and listen to them belting out their party tunes. Not the minority, sadly, it's the majority. That'll be one of the positives from today. That he's referring to about not having to play them again. There's a couple of things about that. John had Curvy Nisbet, our John. That also said, are all the clubs, the police, the SFA and match officials complicit in sectarianism by continuing or allowing games to continue while the Billy Boys is being sung? So taking that one plus what John R has said there about the party songs and it being the majority. Are the clubs complicit? Is the SFA complicit and the referee etc. by not
the clubs
doing anything?
The clubs are because they don't want to do the I can't remember what it's called, strict liability.
Yeah,
because every club would get caught for something. And obviously, it wouldn't be fucking Rangers that would get done first, would it? It would be in the VAR scenario here where I was on this has got to sort it out boat, because you thought, well, it's fucking clear as day in front of your eyes. But guaranteed, they wouldn't do them first because they'd fucking tan their windies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's
we're totally bullied out here. They've bullied the country into it, haven't they? There's no. Everybody's. You could say complicit. You could say shit scared.
Yeah. I would. I think I've said it before. I would totally advocate a ban for them coming in and being really fucking crystal clear on why the ban's there. Either cut their allocation in half and say, well, we're doing it because of the sectarian singing, and if you want to have that, like, we'll cut it in half again if you carry on the songs, and then we'll give you his name. And if you want to kind of get that end again, like the full end, then you just need to fucking behave. That's probably the approach I would do at Hibs, and just then you can at least say you're doing something about it, because you would expect, and there must be, right? And I ken Rangers fans that I'm friends with, family Rangers fans that aren't bigots, like they're no sectarian. They wouldn't dream of it, do you know? But where are these people at the games? Why are they no self-policing?
They would just get battered down now, wouldn't they?
It's depressing. So I think for me, if it's my decision, I'm running the club, I'd take the hit on the fucking money and go, well, I'd rather have my principles than the money. Absolutely. And fucking what they're going to do is cut our allocation there for about 500 to 200. Like, fucking deal. Like, would notice. Alan Duncan said, agree on the new keeper. Bashir in for Hanlon. Miller in for CJ Egan-Riley. More youth on the bench. Henderson Hoppy should never be seen in a Hibs jersey again. Miller for Egan-Riley is an interesting one to pull out for that.
I didn't think Egan-Riley was that great today. And I've read about him before, but I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that he's good against the teams that are not above us. Like maybe Aberdeen and that is good, but like the Rangers Celtic, he's not been good in, I don't think, those games yet. Certainly the two Rangers games at Easter Road, one in centre midfield, one at right back. He's looked slow and ponderous on the ball and even chasing back. Like that won the day, that first goal. It looked like it was fucking slow motion. It was. I actually said, he doesn't ken that Cantwell's there. Like the ball was coming down the line. It was like he didn't know he was near area because he was just fucking jogging over it. And then he gave the free kick away, whether it was a free kick or not, all that. But actually, I think he had more time in the first place, didn't he, to get himself in that situation. So I think he struggled in the Rangers Celtic games, and his standard is against the lower half of the league. Like, he's really good against them, and he looks good. But he's in the paper at the weekend talking about, I'm ready for the English Premiership, thanks Hibs and all that. And you're like, no, you're not, son. You're not even ready for the Scottish Premiership. You've got a bit of work to do. I think he's a good player, but I would totally go along with that point in the biggest game. So the derby, which obviously is not the same quality that he's up against. He played well in the last derby. But he struggled early doors when he got booked in that, and then he done well after that. He got booked and then settled into the game, and actually, when you probably give him some more credit for avoiding a second booking and still playing well. But you're right, the two games that Easter Road against Rangers, he's really struggled, and if he's wanting to play in the Premiership, then he's going to have to compete above that level. Absolutely, because see, and this isn't it, and I know, and I've mentioned this in a group chat earlier, so you'll have read this point probably, but our best players in the last 20, 30 years have all been wanted by Rangers and Celtic, right? And whether that you want to count as a benchmark or not, but we've got lists of them, screens of them that they've signed, and others that they've been linked with that they haven't signed. He wouldn't be on their radar. He wouldn't get a game for either of them. No. So if we want to be trying to take points off of them, we need players in the team that are good enough that they would want them. Like they would get a game for them. And we've not got that. That's why we're not anywhere near it. Aye, and it's a good one. And I kind of gone back a long time, and I'd have a fairly exceptional team. But the golden generation, when it was Thompson, Brown, Whittaker, etc., they shone in those games rather than O'Connor. They shone in them. They went. Fletcher, Chris Dillon. And they weren't feared. They would put tough tackles in and all the rest of it and get on the ball. I think it's on the ball bit that annoys me the most today. When you're like, it was like rabbits in the headlights when we got the ball, and
5-yard passes going fucking astray. Yeah. Just basic, simple decision making. Like Yuan, that breakaway at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
you just think, how can you be that poor in that moment? It's such like a key moment. You've got last opportunity of the half, and you're right. Because he gave Tavernier a hard time for some of the match. And if you're Michael Beale watching, you'd maybe be thinking, oh, I'd be interested in him as a potential signing. And you'd watch that and you'd go, fuck it, nah, not at our level.
No, because he's not got the final. He's got potential. He's pacing that frustrates the fuck out of me that he's so unwilling to swing a left foot at the ball sometimes, though.
Aye.
When you've got a left winger like that and all they want today is coming on the right. A good defender. Now, he's playing Tavernier the day, so you could argue he's not a good defender. So it's we've got away with it. But you play against, he's a top scorer. Like, he's good at all that shit, but he's not a good defender. But you get a good right back against him, and they'll just stick him out to they'll keep him on his bad foot all the time. He'll do fuck all.
Gavin Skene said, have we ever made more depressing substitutions at 2-0 down as we did today? They were the opposite of impact subs, minimal impact subs, maybe. Well, I think we definitely have had more depressing subs, but when you see who's coming on, there wasn't a game changer there, was there? Really?
No, but there wasn't a game changer on the bench, mate.
No.
My daughter Grace read the team up to me on the way down to the game, and I went, all right, so that's Campbell in for Doyle Hayes then. And she's using the bench, she read them out and went, Neil Addy's again, like, just to make that point again. And nobody that you'd go, oh, bring him on. Like, you've got Rocky there, but unless you're thinking, fuck, getting our defender on, you're not bringing him on, eh? So, although we never answered the point about Rocky over Hanlon, as somebody made, because I didn't think Hanlon was that bad.
No, I thought again, some of the defending wasn't great today, to be fair.
It was, as a team, though,
yeah.
So, the bench is just like McCurdy's your first sub, eh?
Yeah,
that's where we are. So, somebody's came in and had no impact.
Hoppy's no. Like, he's not at our level, I didn't think. And again,
he's had more an impact than fucking McCurdy since he came.
Well, he scored a goal. Was it one goal we scored? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Graham Whiteman said, looked like an under-14s team playing the under-18s. We accept the golf and technical ability given their budget, but we should be able to compete physically. Correct.
Well, I agree with that.
Gordon said, major dealings need done in the summer. So many players not good enough for a side looking to challenge for Europe. Campbell, Cadden, Henderson, Doyle Hayes, Marshall, all examples of not good enough for the squad, but are starting most weeks.
I think Campbell and Cadden are that bad. I think they're getting dragged into this. I don't think they're like we canny. We just canny bin everybody.
No, you're right. But are they getting into Hearts or Aberdeen's teams, like positions 3 and 4? Are they getting in and starting week in, week out?
Cadden and Campbell?
Yeah.
I can't add any place for them. But no. Cadden's better than that Michael Smith, is he not? I don't know if he plays for them though. He did in the derby because he went off with a hamstring. But then that's me counting as my right back. Well, is he a fucking right back anymore? I don't know. So I think they would possibly. Josh Campbell might be a fucking player of the year.
Mm-hmm. He might be, but I think Campbell's been off it the last few weeks. But
that's taken away for the fact for the August to fucking March or whenever it was when he was good.
And I suppose the team that started today was more or less the team that started. Like, it was the same team that started last week against Aberdeen and ran over the top of them. Mm-hmm. So if you were saying like Cadden and Campbell, Sean in those games, they both played well. So they're at that level, but I technically
Campbell's the next one. Campbell's the next one that's getting dragged in. He's the new generation of Hanlon and Stevenson. As soon as we lose a game, we'll blame the laddie that's been here since he was a laddie and he's a Hibs fan.
Aye, but then I think we also, when Campbell was playing really well, folk were quick to say we got it wrong.
Hanlon and Stevenson as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Try to play devil's advocate a bit there, but
it's just the exact same. It's following the same career path.
But I think though, if we're wanting to get into Europe, like I think this season, as I said earlier, I think we are now where we deserve to be. If we scrape into Europe, we will have scraped into it. It's gone to the wire with us in St Mirren for that 5th place position. I don't think we're good. Like I said, I don't think we're good enough to go through the qualifying rounds without fairly significant recruitment in the summer. I just don't see where this team. I think the team lacks. It's like that, like killer instinct, or just a bit of quality, like the grit and fight and quality that you need and sort of key positions in the team. I just think we don't have that there. Lex Lofer said, I'm also going to have a bigger rant about this sectarian shite when I get home, but it really is time for us as a fan base to mobilise against this. Totally sick of hearing it all game long. Our club needs to make a stand. Yeah, totally. And
it seems to be becoming more and more people saying that as well, over the last couple of times. But did you know? Did you drop Ben a note maybe as well about it?
I did have a conversation with Ben after the last time Rangers were there, because I made the point. Like I got in touch with the club and said, like we need to do something about it. We can't go. My point was that there's no point in doing these show racism, the red card, or like have your non-sectarianism. Like football's for everybody, all these inclusivity days and all the rest of it. If when push comes to shove, you're faced with it, you ignore it. And that's what we do. It's just tokenism. Then you're like, did they fucking bother having the days? Did they pretend you're against sectarianism or racism if you're not actually going to do anything against it? It's just fucking, what you're doing, raising awareness, but then fuck all about it. It frustrates me. It really, because it's 2023. It's not like they're in the fucking dark ages with these things. It's gone backwards. They've gone backwards as a support. The Rangers fans are worse than they ever were. And I agree. It's time folk need to take a stand. Target their fucking sponsors. I said that before. Like you want to go after thinking who's on the front of the shirt or whatever. But go after them. Go make a big fucking tag them on Twitter and say you're backing this fucking bunch of sectarian bastards. Go after them. Make a noise about it and hit them in the pocket.
But it's only them that do that. Like nobody else can be arsed it. It'd be the same if it was the other way around. If there was Protestant hatred. Or whatever, or they would be over
it. Charlie McGrew thinks he made that up. Says, only positive I can take is that we had the chances this week and last to win both games, but the big negative is we're just not clinical enough. I like Nisbet, but just something about him makes me think he's not bothered anymore. Actually, number one required as well, unfortunately.
That's a point. We missed that one out. Somebody messaged earlier, and it's just been touched on again about Nisbet. Fuck me. Like, he just ran about fouling folk all day. Like, he got booked as eventually for persistent fouling. It was about 6th foul. The ref only pointed to about 3 places. I was like, I'd said, all right, he just is daft fouls. Like, can that one where you want to just make it hard for the defender because their backs, they're facing their own goal line or something, or they're in their own hat again, and you just go push them in the back. And then they fall down and they get a free kick. And you're like, you just made it easy for them. He must have done fucking 2-3 of them. Then he left a couple of late ones on, like no heavy late ones, but just silly like leg danglers. And it was like, let's try to get your value down, so you definitely get sold in the summer. And it was like, if anybody's watching this, they'll know what to buy you. Certainly know the price we want, but they'll offer us less. Again, it's like it felt like that. I just thought quite petulant. The perception of him. Kind that arms in the air stuff and moaning all the time, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I was getting frustrated, but I think there was a point in the second half where he was one-on-one with Suter, I think, and he tried to just like one of these delicate flick to tuck it back between Suter's legs or whatever, but it was like a half-arsed attempt. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, have a bit of conviction, or and again, it goes back that if Nisbet definitely sees himself as above Hibs level, but if you can't turn it on in a game like that, you're not above Hibs level. In fact, you're not even at fucking Hibs level.
But the thing is, you need to be the best player every week.
Aye.
And that's how you prove it. If you got that conversation must happen at youth levels and all that. And players think that. I know it does at my house. If you think you need to be the best player every fucking week. Aye. That's how you go. Get what I mean? And that's because if you start believing you're better than you are, you'll not be. And you'll just drop to the standards to who you're with. And actually, he's not even at that fucking standard sometimes.
Aye. That's it. You have to be the best player at Hibs, and if you can't turn on these games, you're not at our level. You and Macaleese actually next point was about Nisbet as well. Let's not feck about, offer a decent wage or cash in ASAP. Ian T said, was it another curious case? This the flaws of our keepers exposed, probably undid our game plan, but surely we anticipated going down. Does LJ either not have the tools to do the job, or can he still not figure out how to get a consistent tune out of what he has? We'll talk about Lee Johnson next, but the point about anticipating losing a goal, I mean, you would think they prepare for that against Rangers, but just the heat went. Couple more to get through. Steve McKenzie, new keeper is a must. Big changes needed. Team isn't good enough. Nowhere near it. No positives other than it's one game closer to the end of another poor season. Our friend of the podcast, Tom Wallace. Marshall isn't bothered. 2 goals were his fault, although the first wasn't a foul. Get rid of him. Paul Hanlon, my player of the match. William Turner, Marshall, Chabraya, Devlin, McGuinness, Tavares, Jago, Henderson, McGeady, Jago again, Hoppy and Nisbet all need cleared out. We have several kids being touted and folk on loan that deserve a crack to add to any future signings. Do you think he'll go for a big clear out in the summer? Do you know, like in January, that was sort of like his priority was clearing the decks rather than bringing folk in. Do you think this summer he's going to go fucking try to get as many off the books as possible and start again?
Potentially, yeah, but I think it depends on how long they've got left on their deal. And I think there's some there that, I don't know, I can't remember the names because there was that many got rattled there, but I think the likes of Cadden and Campbell might be, or I mean, it was only a fucking 6 months ago that Campbell was getting touted for a sale to the Championship and we fucking signed him up. So he's not going anywhere.
No.
Like, so if he's on anybody's list, he's no, unless we sell him for money, proper money, because, or let's say proper, like for a fee.
Money. Yeah.
Whether it's big or not, but definitely for a fee, because we've fucking given him an extra bit on his deal, I think, from memory, to keep him because there was teams sniffing about him in December and January. So he's not gone. Cadden's a good SPL player. We need some of them as well. So's Campbell. We need good SPL players, and what we need to do is add to it with fucking really good and excellent SPL players. That's what we need. That's how we become a good team. You can't get rid of the good ones as well, and you're not going to sign 11 fucking excellent ones. What we would do is, if you emptied everybody out of that squad, we'd end up with 6, 7, 8, 9 guys that are just on a par with Campbell and Cadden are now.
Aye. Right. Part Fry's image, like last few comments, then we're almost at time call. Players taking chances would help. Jack Ross was successful with 3 players contributing 50 goals. We didn't take advantage last week and have fallen out of the game today by not taking chances. Marshall will likely be here next season. He needs competition though. 150k on Hanlon Hill. Why is mediocre such a snazzy word?
It's a good word. I used it earlier in conversation, talking about the European spot, saying that it's the mediocre European spot, or words around that, because I keep saying it and I can, like, we're going to be fucking dancing in the streets of Hibs if we get to the Cunts Cup, but I'll no be, because they'll be back in fucking the 1st of June or something, pre-season training for a long weekend in Wales. I think I read somebody refer to it as.
See, instead of the Cunts Cup, can we start calling it the Conference League?
Aye, let's go with that.
Right. AK Arab said LJ must go. LJ is a legend. LJ out. What a manager LJ is. Folks' opinion on him changed like the weather. A lot of work needs done, but surely stable management is needed.
I think so. It's I agree with that. It's a new. I was talking about that on the way at the game, actually. I was saying, fucking hell, we'll be wanting him sacked again the night, and I'm not sure if I do. I think we've came this far. We maybe got to give him the next window and that, and then if he fails, then we go, Lee, that's your fucking 4 windows. Like, you changing it to 5 and 6 now? Like, how many windows do you actually need? And we need to have that bit of stability. I think that's what teams do. All we would do is like look at Aberdeen. You get an interim manager in, he wins a couple of games, you rush to give him a contract, and then he's done pish again. And then you're back on that conveyor belt. They'll be wanting Robson sacked if he doesn't get third place.
And get to about August, won't it?
So it's like let's try something different. Instead of sacking a manager every time we lose to Rangers or Celtic. Actually, fucking stick with it for a wee while, and see how we go.
Segues nicely into Ross Greaves' questions. Is it time to admit the Lee Johnson experiment is over and has been a colossal failure? Mostly poor in the big games and boring, negative football. No sign that it's going to change anytime soon. Belgium Lascars are totally inconsistent.
There is signs though, because we fucking get our hopes up when we have a couple of good games. Well, how good were we last week, even though we didn't win? Like the tweets came in here last week. Go fucking listen back. Everybody was fucking buzzing about how good we were. I was pissed off that we never won, but we go up. It's fucking roller coaster stuff.
Yeah. Belgium Lascar totally inconsistent, not taking chances. There's a stubborn mediocrity around the club that we just can't seem to kick. Ladid said at the end of season, no score snooze fest that we somehow conspired to lose 3 goals and Rangers barely broke sweat. Gaz on Safari, powder puff today. We really need a goal threat from midfield. I think we spoke about that last week, didn't we? Cadden has a good engine but can't go past a player and his final ball is poor. Newell played well again today. Need to build the team around him to get the most out of him every week. Dave Thompson, club captain and on the board of the foundation. He's had no competition for his jersey. He's not good enough for us. And last one we've got is from Scott Miller. We're still 6 players short of being half decent. The absolute minimum I'd expect is fight, desire, and some passion. Does LJ suck that out of the players in the same way we're bored of his interviews? But there are a few others, but they're more or less on the same theme as most of the ones that are in there. So thanks for sending them in, folks. Celtic on Wednesday, Colin. Yeah, you see that going any differently to today?
Nah, I'm beating into it now. I think we're not going to. I think Celtic struggled yesterday. That probably didn't help us because that would have made them like we probably wanted them just to have an easy 2-3-0 yesterday, as they normally do, because then they might have been more complacent. But I think that's probably wait a minute, boys, like because I know they kind of get record points and that anyway, but then they want to get beat, do they? So
no,
I would expect that we'll struggle. We've not got the quality to compete. Having said that, St Mirren did, and so it is possible. But I just based on our track record, I can't see us now.
Nah, I think it's going to be like you said, the St Mirren game. Because Celtic will want to come out and prove a point now, right? Like we've no down tools and all the rest of it. So it's probably just fucked.
Because I actually saw this when these fixtures came out, and I might have said it in extra time, but I thought, what a great time to get them. Get Rangers at home, get Celtic at home. Ideal, because if we're going to beat them, it would be at home. Get Celtic the Wednesday before they play the cup final, because it's just then an inconvenient game for them. Like, fuck me, play the reserves. We'll get the first team back out to get the trophy on Saturday, and as to get ready for the cup final again. Whether they'll do that now or no, I don't know. But that was how for the Wednesday. What a great fucking game to get them. They've already won the league. They're already looking to the cup final. They're not getting their trophy. You know what I mean? I thought it was a great time to get them. So it still is, but based on how we perform and well, it's just because I think it's just acceptance that come on, we're not that good.
Yeah. Score prediction?
5-0 Hibs. No, I think I don't know, maybe a 2-1 defeat.
I go. I think the heads will go out. We'll lose a couple of goals. Heads will go. It'll probably end similar to this one. 3-1 3-1. Right. I can. Happy days. Right. Thanks for all your talking points, people. Thanks for tuning in. You can subscribe, obviously, if you don't already. There'll be loads of extra time content to keep you busy through the pre-season as well. So we're just about to go and record our 1-year review of Lee Johnson because he just had that anniversary. And you can get that by going to our Twitter and clicking on the link there. You can sign up for just the Hibs content. You can get just the Shortbangers content if that's your thing, or you can get everything. Pick an option that suits yourself. Right, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time.
down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.